Okay. So in last classes we discussed about the losses in this satellite link, and we saw certain losses. One is free space spreading loss. This is a receiver feeder loss. Is the receiver feeder. Antenna misalignment loss due to misalignment of antenna. Atmospheric absorption loss. Polarization loss. All these losses can be added. And the link power budget equation means you are inputting a power to a link, which is the effective isotropic radiated power. You have some losses, you reduce the losses, and you add the gain at the receiver antenna, gain of the receiving antenna. You get the received power. This is the basic expression for received power. The effective isotropic radiated power at the transmitting antenna, assuming the antenna is 100% efficient, and it goes out, whatever is that transmit power, it goes out as radiated power. Some losses occurring, plus the gain of the receiving antenna will give you the received power. This is the basic link power budget equation. Now it can be expressed in terms of some other notations also. So we need to look at some other notations. Carrier to noise ratio. So this is a measure of performance of satellite link. Is the ratio of carrier power to noise power at the receiver. This is denoted by C by N or CNR. This is equivalent to received power by received noise. This is like you have a modulated signal. Naturally, you have a carrier. So you have, in general, you have SNR also, which may be referred to for a baseband signal, demodulated one. You have this baseband signal and noise for a before demodulation. In the modulation link in that area, then after the transmission at the uplink, after carrier being modulated, and then it is demodulated at some point. Frequently in satellite communication we refer to that modulated carrier to noise ratio, so modulated signal. So link budget calculation may be concerned with determining this ratio, C by N ratio. So you have this calculation of this received power from the previous slide. The EIRP minus losses plus gain of the receiving antenna will give the received power. You subtract the noise power. These are all in dB. The square terms are all in dB. So in the linear scale it is PR by PN. In the dB scale PR dB minus MdB. This is the carrier to noise ratio, which is a metric for a modulated signal in satellite communication. So the link equation E by N, this is PR, which we know in the last slide, ARP plus GR minus losses. And you minus this Pn, which is the thermal noise, is the major contributor, KTBN. K is the Boltzmann constant. T is the temperature, which we had seen the system temperature, Ts. And this is the bandwidth under consideration. So this Ts is the system bandwidth we had defined earlier in this in connection with an noise representation. This noise is K into some T, which is T antenna plus TE1, which is the noise referred to amplifier input, etc. So for a cascaded stage, there will be many other additions, T2 by G1, like that. All this added is the system noise temperature. This is one way of representing noise, system noise temperature. Another is the noise figure. So this represents the noise, system noise temperature. This is the bandwidth. So this is the expression for link equation for PN, carrier to noise ratio, in dB. These are all in dB. PR we have found out minus PN. And even sometimes some other ratio is used. So a gain of the receiving antenna and system noise temperature Ts can be combined as a G by T, which is gain of the receiving antenna minus T of the system noise temperature. This is sometimes given G by T ratio. Receiving antenna gain and the system temperature Ts. So this is in dB. So we can combine this GR and TS of this and write as G by T. So ARP G by T minus losses minus K minus BS. Okay. So this is another expression for link equation. Now, apart from C by N, there could be C by N naught. N is a noise power, N naught is a noise power spectral density. So noise power is noise power spectral density into bandwidth. Ratio of carrier power to noise power spectral density. So PR by N naught will be the actual quantity actually required sometimes in some equations. So then you have this relation, noise power is or spectral density into Bn. So this is N naught. So C by N can be written as N is N naught into Bn. This is for spectral density into bandwidth. So in terms of dB scale, it becomes C by N naught minus Bn. So you can have expression in terms of C by N naught also, where C by N is this one. And in which G by T is appearing, G by T can be this one. Okay, C by N is there. So basic link power budget equation is this one. However, in some problem maybe C by N is given. So we are required to find, or G by T may be given. Okay, or C by N naught, things like that. So these are all equivalent representations we need to be aware of. So a problem, a link power, link budget calculation at some frequency, free space loss is this much, antenna pointing loss, different losses, atmospheric absorption loss, pointing loss, and pointing loss means misalignment loss, atmospheric absorption loss, G by T ratio, in which we have to use this expression. So that is given. Receiver feeder losses, one, it is given. Effective isotropic transmit power is given. Calculate carrier to noise spectral density ratio. So this is C by N naught. So C by N naught, to calculate. So this is the expression. We just add up. This is all substitution. CART, D by T, losses, all you add this K, and C by N naught will be the power, and this is, since it is spectral density, it is by hertz per hertz. It becomes. The unit you need to check. So whenever you have N naught, it is for spectral density. So these are the various expressions for link power budget equation. And just one more slide regarding this module, and we'll go to the next module, and I will give some assignment, some portion which are there in the book, so that I'll send. One more slide is on geostationary orbit. So such satellites and such orbits are defined such that they are appear to be stationary with respect to Earth. So this satellite which is in this orbit, it has to be appear stationary with respect to Earth. It must travel eastward at same speed as Earth, rotation speed as Earth. These conditions have to be satisfied. Now, what is the orbit for this geostationary satellite? The orbit must be circular. So we have seen Kepler's second law, and constant speed. Should have a constant speed, which means that equal areas must be swept out in equal times. This is a condition. A constant speed is a condition which means that equal areas must be swept out in equal times. We had seen a figure while discussing the second law. Okay. So whether even if it is at a distance near and far, it should be same speed. Means it can occur only with a circular orbit. It cannot be elliptical orbit. It has to be a circular orbit because of the constant speed requirement, which means equal areas must be swept out in equal times, which means the orbit should be circular. And further, the inclination of the orbit must be same. Any inclination would have satellite moving relative north and south. So the orbit should lie in the Earth's equatorial plane. This is the necessary condition. So it has to be circularly moving east to west in the equatorial plane for a geostationary orbit. Now we had calculated a period while discussing Kepler's second law. And exactly if you calculate for an ordinary day, solar day, this is the time period. If you substitute this, you will get this value from second law. We had calculated done a problem there. So if you put this exact period here, this you will get this figure, and from which if you subtract the equatorial radius of the Earth, you will get approximately 36. So that's how you find the orbit. So the orbit should appear, satellite should appear stationary with respect to constant speed east to west and at this radius. So such type of satellites are geostationary orbit and can be near geostationary as well. Not exactly this, approximately this. Okay, so that's all about our satellite communication. And I will just discuss a few slides on the next module, just only the introductory part, and then we'll continue to tomorrow. So this next module is based on this book, Theodore Rappaport, Wireless Communication Principles and Practice. It is basically related to wireless communication, some evolution of systems, paging, cordless, then comparison of the cellular systems and few other technologies. And this is the book. I'll be sending that book as well. So basically, evolution of mobile radio communication. So this few things just to be noted. One is a radio spectrum. So basic resources in communication are bandwidth and power. Both are not freely available. Bandwidth and power, resources of communication. So radio spectrum usage is controlled by government and it's not by service providers, equipment manufacturers, entrepreneurs. You don't get it for the asking all these spectrum. You have to pay and it is controlled by government. So this all happened in early 50s and 60s where certain companies, AT&T, Bell, and other companies developed the theory and techniques of cellular radio. Basically, it was telephony that time. So they thought of breaking coverage zone into smaller cells, each of which would reuse portion of the spectrum to increase spectrum usage. So the basic constraint is coming from the spectrum. So initially what they did was they had analog system. They had a very big tower and very high power, and that cellular concept was not there. So they could not use spectra effectively. So if you have to reuse the spectrum, you can effectively use the spectrum. You can reuse the frequency. However, you need greater system infrastructure. Many many cells you need, and each cell you need infrastructure. So because of this limited availability of the spectrum, for which you need to pay money, you need to figure out how to use it effectively. So they came up with alternative of using more and more infrastructure and then reusing the spectrum. Again, two terms to be just noted is one is mobile. So you have a radio terminal. It is attached to high-speed mobile platform. Example, cellular phone in a fast-moving vehicle. So this is a mobile device. And term portable device is the radio terminal handheld at walking speed. Police walkie-talkie or a cordless phone moving in the home. These are all portable devices. And the other one is at high speed. This is the mobile device. Other one is the portable device. Just to differentiate between these two types of devices. And basically, mobiles communicate to fixed base station. So you have mobile, you communicate to your base station. This has power source. It is also limited. This also has power source, which is also limited. And these are connected maybe by a fixed backbone network which was already in place. Our PSTN was already in place. All these network wired connections are there. And finally also you have this wireless. So basically you have at the end, the last mile and the first mile, you may have this wireless. Otherwise, between amongst the base station, you may have all these fixed backbone network. So only here you are being free of the wire. And three types radio communication. So mobile radio system can be classified as simplex. So this is X, simplex, duplex, half duplex, and duplex. Simplex. The simplex means only one direction. So with regard to communication system, paging systems are there. Although in our country we didn't have a long duration in which people had used pagers. In many other countries, these paging systems were in place before this mobile screen. So here in paging, it is one direction only. You need to give some information to an intended user. It need not be acknowledged. So that is an example of simplex system. And half duplex means there is possibility of two-way communication. However, you are using the same radio channel for transmission and reception. So you need to switch between transmitter like push to talk, release to listen. They are these fundamental features of this half duplex radio. You may have this policeman using all these things. Police push to talk, release to listen. All these are the fundamental features of half duplex. You have both way communication, but only one at a time. And the other one is full duplex, allows simultaneous radio transmission and reception between subscriber and base station by providing two simultaneous but separate channels. When you provide the channel, resources have to be provided. For simultaneous transmission and reception, you need resources in terms of spectrum. So the full duplex is there, simultaneous two-way, half duplex is there, two-way, one at a time, either of them, and simplex. So the paging system are simplex system. So just two more slides and I'll finish it up. Communication systems that send brief messages to a subscriber. So the message could be just a numerical value, a alphanumeric value, or a voice message. Just one-sided. It may be to notify a subscriber to call a particular phone, some message. Or or travel to a known location to receive further instructions. Okay, he can phone from a STD booth or somewhere from the next location. However, instructions are given, he is getting information. Even advanced paging system have new set lines, stop rotation, facts, all these facilities could be there. But however, these are only one-sided. The message sent to paging subscriber via paging system. Messages are sent to the subscriber via paging system, and the issued message is called a page. Paging system transmits page throughout service area using base stations which broadcast page on a radio carrier. So the page, which is the message intended to be issued to the subscriber, would be transmitted throughout the service area. In a simple paging system, the service area may be smaller, whereas a wide area paging system can provide worldwide coverage. So these are all one directional uh, system. So you have this transmission of pages to the subscriber from various base stations. So wide area paging system through though paging receivers are simple. So the pager which is there at the subscriber, they are simple receivers only. They are inexpensive. The transmission system is quite sophisticated. Transmission system is quite sophisticated. Wide area paging system consists of network of telephone lines, many base station transmitters, and large radio receivers that simultaneously broadcast a page from each base station. They are called simulcasting. So they are simultaneously broadcasting a page from every base station, and hence it is called simulcasting. And paging systems are designed to provide reliable communication inside a building, driving on a highway, or flying in an airplane. This necessitates larger transmit power of the order of kilowatts and lower data rate for maximum coverage from each base station. So this is the diagram of a wide area paging system. The paging control center dispatches pages received from the PSTN. PSTN means the public telephone network, so PSTN, through several cities at the same time. So only the uh, requirement is to uh, get the page across to the system to the subscriber, and there is no acknowledgement. There is no reverse communication. So that is about paging system. So we will see the remaining portion next class.